Hi everybody, I hope you're doing well today. It's a fine Sunday morning. No, it's not. There's a lot of rainy. Oh, it's just been so nasty. It's supposed to clear up. Just doesn't look very hopeful out there. Got to deal with it, right? But my energy's been so off because of it that I actually took a Ritalin today. Maybe I won't need a nap later. Okay, we know that's a lie. So if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Francine and I have low-grade serous ovarian cancer. I was first diagnosed 20 plus years ago, and thought I had it beat. But no, over the years it slowly grew. What makes it low grade is that it is a slow grower. They should call it slow grade. But in fact, back then my first diagnosis was called peritoneal cancer. Well, primary peritoneal carcinoma. The reason it wasn't really ovarian cancer, it was from the same tissue, but my tumors were on the outside of the ovary instead of the inside, and that was one of the differences. So I had the standard chemo and surgery, and I went for my interval scans for many years. CT scans really didn't show anything. What I didn't know was that my tumors were just camera shy. Now, if you're having certain symptoms and you're worried about cancer, that you may have it, stick around to the end and I will share a couple of tips with you. When ovarian cancer first is diagnosed, it's usually already a stage 3 because a lot of the symptoms are dismissed for just other common ailments, like diarrhea, for instance, can be anything, right? I mean, it could be a lot of things. It could be what you keep eating. But the problem, which one it is. Sometimes it's both. I have other ailments too, diabetes, a lot of other things. I'm kind of surprised that I feel as good as I do some days. But I really do work on taking care of myself. But nobody's perfect. I'm indulgent. If I see a cupcake, for instance, I really want that cupcake. And if you say no, then I want it even more. Not a binge eater. I just try to keep it low. That's all. I don't know. I'm getting blood work again very soon, and we'll see. So I have some notes today because I have some very important points I just don't want to miss. This is no kidding around, folks. So I was pretty good, like I said, about getting my regular checkups and my regular CT scans. At first, after I thought I was out of the woods, way back then, I would get scans every 3 months, then every 6 months, and then eventually we got them every year. And it was always clear. The problem was my type of tumor is not your average just 1 or 2 big tumors. And it was the first time. Now there are a whole lot of little tumors and they're very hard to photograph. But we didn't know that. We just, look clear. But I was having other symptoms that I really couldn't explain away. I tried to. So because of that, my cancer was growing for 20 years and we didn't know it until I had other symptoms. And then it was advanced. Perfect scenario, perfect storm, not such perfect news. It wasn't until my other symptoms got so severe that I needed answers. And finally, imaging was showing a little bit, at least enough, to warrant a biopsy. And that's how I was diagnosed. If I could help someone else avoid that, that would be great. Because I had chemo again, I had surgery again, and longer story short, I talk about it in other videos, Nothing has worked. And about a year ago, I was diagnosed terminal. The only thing that we have as far as options is to try to slow it down with medications. I did try one. The side effects were really bad. I won't go into all those. The doctor took me off of it. And there are other similar ones that have really bad side effects. And I decided, I would rather have a little less time and live every day. And that's why a lot of my thumbnails say living with terminal cancer. Emphasis on the living. But that's my choice. Other videos for that. What I want to do actually is talk about some of these symptoms, the most common ones that I either ignored or I dismissed. So let's talk about that. Signs and symptoms of ovarian cancer may include abdominal bloating and swelling. Oh, I had that. I didn't have fluid as what they called ascites, but I definitely was really bloated, and I felt this hard shell in there, like over the bloating. Like I felt like a little bit like a turtle. I can't explain it. Now I'm pretty sure that's tumor tissue and scar tissue. I have a lot of scar tissue. Another video. So I was at first thinking, it's probably salt, but why aren't my ankles swelling, And so I dismissed it for what I was eating and wasn't really paying attention to it. But when I was swelling, it wasn't like I felt 7 months pregnant. And sometimes I thought, oh, you just gained a couple of pounds. So I sort of dismissed it because what woman doesn't get a little bloating, right? Quickly feeling full when eating. Yeah, that was one of the ones that I was getting later. But the thing about it is that 10 years ago, I had bariatric surgery. I had the gastric sleeve. And that alone makes you feel full really fast. But there was some unusual, like the difference, there was a little difference, and there still is. Sometimes it's just like I hit the wall and that's it. And it really depends on what I'm eating. Like meat, I definitely can only have a little bit, little bit less than I used to have, that's for sure. And there are some days I don't have that particular symptom, but also because of the diabetes, I'm also on Trulicity, which is that one of the shots you take once a week. It's not like, it is in the family of Ozempic, but I don't think they use Trulicity for weight loss. It's not working for me anyway. And it's supposed to delay the way you digest your food. And it makes the stomach empty a little bit slower. So you may still have a lot of the last meal in there to make you full really quick. I go through phases with that, so it doesn't faze me. Sorry. Weight loss. I definitely did not have this symptom. That may be more for the standard ovarian high grade. There definitely is a difference. Low grade is a rare form of ovarian cancer, but a lot of the symptoms are the same, even though the cancer functions differently. Okay. And I suppose weight gain can be why not? If you're feeling bloated, this is just one list I got from the Mayo Clinic. That's right. Sorry. And I'm not going to edit a lot of this stuff out because, I don't like to edit. I figured, love me as I am. Okay. Discomfort in the pelvic area. Well, yes, absolutely. I had a hysterectomy the first go around. and I have a lot of scar tissue in there. So there's no way that I could have had any tumors growing on the outside of my ovary. But when you have that organ removed, then the tumors find another place, to do that. Okay. Sorry, as much as I don't like to edit, I did get an interruption, and my husband came home with some flowers for me. He's such a good guy. And he goes grocery shopping. I think it's just because he wants his brands, but that's another story. And it's okay. So we were talking about discomfort in the pelvic area. I was definitely feeling a lot of cramping, but it wasn't like the first time because of the tumors not being in the same place, I suppose. They just find a new place in the same area. And I dismissed it for scar tissue. And some of it may be scar tissue, but I would have pain on either side of my pelvic. But the first time when I had large tumors, that put me down. So if you feel like you're doubling over and wincing, then there's something wrong. It's not your period. And, don't ignore it. So even though I was getting little cramps, they were a little bit different in different places, I dismissed it. Getting old, having changes in my bowels, and feeling my age. That's Gloria. Sorry. No, not sorry, but, that's Gloria. Hello. I tried to boop her, but, spooked her instead. So the other areas I was having a little higher in the abdomen too, but I sort of linked that together with the bloating. The bloating, by the way, was very intermittent, but when I bloated, I bloated. And I don't so much anymore, but I think I'm taking better care of my diet too. Okay, back pain. Yeah, and I still have some back pain, but one of the scans actually said that I was having degenerative bone stuff going on in my spine. When they were looking for cancer, that's what they found instead. So I dismissed that for that. And I don't know to this day if the back pain where I get it near the kidneys, although kidney function's fine, has anything to do with cancer or not. But you can always fit some of these symptoms in with elements of other conditions, and you can sometimes fit that square peg in the round hole. So don't go crazy. Fatigue, that was my biggest issue, and it still is. And that's why I had to take a Ritalin today. But I don't remember it being a symptom the first time around. And by the way, I was going in for a routine surgery, and then it was the biopsy after. So I wasn't getting the hysterectomy because of the cancer. We thought I had cysts, even when they took them out. But the biopsy just showed different. In this case, I just, ended up putting it all together, but maybe too late. Fatigue is still one of my biggest issues. And as the disease progresses, as slow as it does, I end up having a couple more bad days than good, I suppose. But that waxes and wanes. I cannot find a rhythm of when I'm most fatigued. And sometimes I'm sick for just like kind of half a day, that I'm just down. Okay, so fatigue, absolutely. And that that goes with so many conditions and so many different cancers. So I can call it my age, and I did. I attributed to the diabetes, even though it was under control. But I just wish I hadn't have ignored that one, because that is a sign that there's something wrong. There's some reason your body needs to rest. And changes in bowel habits, that was a big one for me as well. Whether it's constipation or diarrhea. For me, there was a lot of diarrhea going on. And now I'm just regulating things because my oncologist wants me on a low fiber diet. And I'm doing Miralax or Gas-X or whatever I need to take at that moment. If you find yourself taking a lot of these things, though, and just attributing it to your age, it may not be your age. A need to frequently urinate. I've just always been a get up and go in the middle of the night several times because of the diabetes. So that didn't change for me. When my diabetes is well controlled, I don't necessarily do that. And now I'm getting up just 1 or 2 times. There was a time I was getting up every 20 minutes. It just depends on how much water I drank after 7 p.m. Or what I'm putting in my body. So I'm a little bit more mindful about what's going in there. Even if it is junk, I will at least acknowledge it. Okay, I'm not sure why the list was so incomplete. Nausea is one of the largest issues I have had. In fact, that was the reason that I went to the doctor. That was like the straw that broke the camel's back. So if you're having nausea, that's definitely something that you shouldn't ignore. And I still throw up, but I have a lot of medications. I have thrown up as recently as 2 days ago. And it's not a pleasant side effect, that's for sure. But definitely just needed to get that editor's note in. So these are the top as far as the most common symptoms that are reported. But there are others, and perhaps you have some unusual ones that might indicate a different problem. But what I want to tell you is that if you feel there's something wrong, there's probably a good chance there is something wrong. That's why we were given an intuitive side, but also a logical side. And what I mean by that is, listen to your body. Don't ignore things. It may not be such a big deal, though, but there's something wrong. Doesn't mean it's cancer. I mean, I'm a big advocate for going online, something that I couldn't have done years ago. Now you can go online and check WebMD and all these other sites. You could drive yourself crazy, So definitely look it up, but make a limit. You look at 3 sites and stop, because you might find just enough information that you should probably get it checked, but not so much information that you've got to go through YouTube videos like this. So stay calm, don't worry, don't panic, but definitely listen to your body. Pain happens for a reason. Unusual body functions are very important to pay attention to. I wish I had pieced it all together, but every time I got the scan, it was fine, and then suddenly it wasn't, to the point where it has grown slowly over the years, and now, it's still growing slowly, but I've got a lot more going on in there than I did, and I don't know if the doctors would have dismissed all those symptoms or not if the scans weren't showing. Nevertheless, it's important to not dismiss everything for your age or for, some other ailment that you might have. Sometimes the symptoms just don't fit. But this is the way that your spirit is telling you there's something wrong with the body. go get it checked. And this is my final piece of advice. Don't wait. If you've got one symptom, okay, but if you've got several of these symptoms or other symptoms, don't wait. Piece them together and go to the doctor. And I'm going to tell you something else. If you feel there's really something wrong and you get dismissed by a doctor, go see another doctor. I'm telling you that one from experience. My first cancer didn't get diagnosed for years because doctors were telling me it's just gas. Do you know why? Because they couldn't feel the tumors in a physical exam. So it must just be gas. They don't go intuitively. Most of them are just logical, left brain, all the way. So what I'm saying is if you're not satisfied with a doctor for any reason, always get a second opinion or make a change. Gloria wants you to know that she agrees. Okay, so there you have it. Go take care of business. I wish you well on whatever journey you're on. With that said, I am going to close now, and I'll talk to you very soon, in a couple days. If you are new here, please hit that button down there and subscribe. Make sure the little bell next to it is black, and you'll get notifications about my journey as I go along, as I'm trying to live with terminal cancer. Bye.